And another season of the NBA on ESPN is underway.
Let's go!
Deep three. Tyler Hero. Oh, he hit it.
We have a liftoff.
Leonard.
Oh, snap! We're getting you ready for Game 6 between the Mavs and the Clips. That is Kawhi Leonard. He's looking to bounce back because the last game wasn't so great. Meanwhile, Mavs own Mark Cuban putting up them buckets, hoping that his Mavs can win tonight and advance to the next round.
Mark Cuban is offering 100% of those buckets
Gary,
for 100% equity stake in those ankles.
Before you say anything,
I had to get my joke off.
Welcome to Hoop Streets, presented by Hotels.com. Gary wanted to get his little joke off. Everybody laugh at him. Gary Streisky, Trevor Scales, Christine Williamson. What's good?
Oh my God! I was actually worried you were gonna steal my joke, C-Dub, so I had to get it.
Yeah, he was worried.
I don't tell jokes. I'm just naturally funny. So,
okay. That's like you're a natural rapper.
That is funny.
Here we go.
That was a good joke. Regularly. Anyways, we're getting you ready for that game. Rod's going on. Wood is going to come through for a little bit. We're also going to talk about what players are doing now that they're eliminated and they're in the offseason, but that's coming up shortly. Before that, we got to get into some NBA Rewind.
Yeah.
Like we always do. We're starting with Best Illusionist. On Wednesday, Sixers looking to close out the Wizards in Game 5. Dwight Howard grabbed the rebound and tricked the ref because he threw it through the net, under the net.
What do you mean trick the ref? I still don't know what the hell happened. Like, did that count? I don't know.
I just can't get my eyes off of Dwight Howard's hair. I'm sorry. That's all I had from that clip. It was weird. It was very weird.
Like a pineapple.
Not with it? Not with it?
No, I probably because I can't rock it. But yeah, no, I'm out on that idea.
Trevor,
Probably.
you could do anything that you want. I believe in you. All right, let's go to craziest comparison. This one of my favorite players, one of Trevor's favorite players. Trae Young has taken on the villain role since high school. He's no stranger to destroying his rivals on the road, and this is an edit from TikTok.
Okay, this was when he was in high school in 2017, Norman North, and watch, they blended this, by the way, we saw this on TikTok, so fantastic, shouts to the creator on this one. He bowed at this high school gym, but imagine 4 years ago being a senior in high school in math class, being like, I gotta go guard Trae Young for a couple of hours. Like what he averaged 43 as a senior.
Yeah, and your friends are yelling overrated from the stands. You be like, hey, you gotta chill. Like, can you not? He doesn't need any more fuel to this fire. I need you to chill, all of y'all.
Everybody be quiet.
The kid has been a bucket.
Yes.
All right, so for quickest exit, you gotta hear this.
Oh, Spike's leaving early.
Come on,
Wait a
man.
second.
That's a fair weather fan right there. If he's supposed to be the #1 supporter of the Knicks, you got to stay here and take it like the guys on the floor.
Hey, Reggie Miller is cold-blooded for being the person that yells that at Spike Lee after he sat there and did this to that man.
He doesn't forget. Listen, I appreciate somebody who can hold a grudge, and I was actually a bit taken aback and befuddled because Spike Lee, of all people, waited that long to get into a playoff series to leave early. Not
mean,
my Spike Lee. That's not my director.
Abject disappointment will change your mind real quick, bro.
I don't even know what that word means, Trevor, but I agree with you.
Wow. Trevor went to Harvard, if you guys don't know. Anyways,
all right, yeah, no, that's fine.
So for biggest bark, you have to hear this one too.
That is an edible. Hey, you right, though. That way I go. What the What is this doing? Hey, what is you on, bruh? What is you on? That's what you think? Oh!
Clearly, Lavella just spends time aggravating that dog. Like, that is my only takeaway from that.
Lonzo only
You think
bought
that's
that
what it
dog
is?
to get to his brother. That's it.
I don't know what's going on there. Like, I don't think it's LaMelo's fault. I think the dog might just be a little crazy.
No.
Like, you don't think so?
No, because the dog wasn't doing nothing to nobody. LaMelo walked in, and as soon as the dog saw him, he was like, nah, it's on the crack.
But you know
because
how some people's dogs are like, you know, if the door opens or somebody's outside, they go a little crazy?
I mean, yes, generally speaking, but that was very clearly motivated to one person. Like, that was geared at one person.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so here is Ja Morant's dad for Nothing But Love.
I'm going for y'all right now. Why? Y'all didn't have to do that. Y'all didn't have to show love to us like that. Yo, no, but this is what I'm saying. When so bad, and then you reach out, that's how you bridge the gap. Most people don't realize that. So that's why I appreciate you, and that's why I hope the Jazz win the championship. Hey, keep killing that. My God.
So that was after the Grizzlies got sent home on Wednesday, and he went to go talk to Donovan Mitchell about how much love he shows for his young.
Yeah, it was after an incident where Utah fans had screamed some racist obscenities towards Ja's father and his wife, the mother of Ja Morant, obviously, as well. And it was very unfortunate. Evidently, Utah came back, sat him courtside, gave him the works as far as just a fan experience. And then to double down on that, Donovan Mitchell and the rest of the organization also gave a little bit of love, to use the phrase that just flashed across the screen, to make sure everybody was all right.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, Donovan Mitchell, and I think this is the instance where Ja's mom elected not to go to the game.
That is correct. Yep.
Oh, yeah. So, shouts to the Jazz for making it right.
Yep.
Can we just ask what's wrong with fans?
I mean, look, come on now. How much time we got on this show?
Were we inside too long, or like what exactly happened? I'm very confused.
Many a reason.
There's so much there.
You're right.
we
You're
need
right.
a whole lot
You're
of time to get into like what is wrong with that dynamic, but that is neither here nor there.
All right, let's move on. Game, recognize game. Suns Lakers last night's Game 6. D-Book came to play. He put up 47 points en route to eliminating the Lakers 113-100. LeBron James had to show respect to the young kid. I mean, I don't know if D-Book is considered young anymore, but, you know.
Definitely is.
24?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. People like to call people vets, and I'm
Hey,
like,
listen,
that's
he's
not fair.
Hey, no, hold on. Recognize that right there. That is my favorite. That was my favorite tweet of the night. That was my favorite one.
Christine, can you read that? What's that say?
Michael Jordan hates losing. He trolled Larry Bird after a hard-fought Eastern Conference Finals in 1998, and yeah.
Christine, your mama watching the program. We cannot say that like that. I will say that was one of my favorite parts of the Last Dance documentary. It was just not just specifically that instance, but also just the general aura of Mike being willing to tell any and everybody "F you," like just at any moment.
Straight up. To bring it back to LeBron, though, he probably wasn't whispering that. It was kind of more like, I know you signed a max extension, man, but we got to figure out a way to get you over here. I need some help.
You're probably right, actually.
Just find a way.
He was recruiting.
Find a way.
Recruiting. He knew.
You're probably right. That's actually probably real. All right, moving on to biggest hint. I really like that word, hint. After the Blazers lost their series, it's a good word.
Okay.
To the Nuggets last night, Damian Lillard took to Instagram to quote Nipsey Hussle. How long should I stay dedicated? How long till opportunity meet preparation? Does this mean that Dame is ready to bounce?
Dedication. Great song from Nipsey Hussle. Great quote. And I do believe that he's more, I imagine, thinking of what is this organization going to do to retool around me? Because he's said it time and time again that he wants to stay, right?
Yeah.
So he's made that clear.
Yeah. One, that's your bio, right? Back half of that quote.
Yep, absolutely.
Follow this man, Twitter, Instagram. Just got verified, by the way. And yeah, Damian Lillard strikes me as the kind of, so did C-Dub, my bad. Strikes me as the kind of guy, right? He's not going to force his way out, but he is going to press management, ownership to like get him pieces. And not for nothing, they have tried to add, but they're clearly one gigantic piece away from being legit contenders. I mean,
one gigantic
he can only do
defensive
so much.
piece.
Yeah,
defensive, they are terrible.
Yusuf Nurkic being hurt, that was obviously terrible. So yeah, they got to add. They got to help.
Real spit.
All right, well, LeBron James is going to bring us the realest soundbite.
I think I'm gonna play for the Toon Squad this summer instead of Olympics. I think that's what that's my focus on trying to beat the Monstars or the Goon Squad, we call them now. So didn't have much success versus Suns. So now I am gearing my attention to the Goon Squad here in July.
How many buttons are buttoned on that shirt?
Not a single.
How many chains do you need to wear at once also? Like, it's
all of
completely
them.
unnecessary. Anyways, this is LeBron on a banana boat with the Toon Squad.
His only teammates that like him right now.
Damn.
Time out. You saw Kyle Kuzma yesterday. Like, okay, AD is still homie and he got hurt, but like nobody else is allowed to make eye contact with LeBron James the way they let him down throughout the entirety of this series. And we only have to go back to Game 5 and Dennis Schroeder's 0-point effort and KCP's 0-point effort. So yeah, LeBron, get other teammates.
Hold on. He's not sweating him. He's just gonna ship him out.
That's what I'm saying. Like those are the only teammates on the banana boat at this present time that he rocks with too.
Fair enough.
Anyways, LeBron on the banana boat made us think about things that other players are doing now that their series have wrapped and they're on the off season.
Well, Danny ain't there no more.
But maybe he's just. What does that mean?
This ain't even a Photoshop. Like, what are we doing?
Wait, but what does this mean though?
They're chilling because Danny Ainge basically came out and said retiring after being the head of the Celtics for the last 18 years. He said he wants to work, but not that much.
Okay, so does this mean that Jason Tatum is having a good time with his former president?
No, Jason mad at him. He probably poked a hole in the tube that he's sitting on. Let him drown.
What?
Accurate.
Okay, this is Jimmy Butler.
That's more accurate than we want to believe. Like that's dangerous.
You think that's him right now during the offseason?
It's close.
Hell no.
It's close.
No. I'm not touching a weight if it's the offseason in the NBA.
I mean, they didn't do that well. So, you know.
I mean, y'all seen that? Y'all remember that picture of Jimmy Butler where he was yoked out of his mind that surfaced? This is not far.
It's not Jimmy Butler who's got to do the work.
So Julius Randle.
We did our guy Julius super dirty.
That's also the one shot that was on the mark in the entire series for Julius. So
wow.
you can hold that one.
You would say that. You would say that.
Let's go.
Everybody, Trevor's from Atlanta if you don't know.
Thank you.
So finally, Russell Westbrook. Okay.
Do we even know? Like, he doesn't strike me as a guy who, like, elects to go to movie theaters.
Nah,
or
he's definitely not touching popcorn after like what happened to him.
He wouldn't go. That's so true.
We are immature, and we apologize.
You feel like what? Why don't we feel like he eats popcorn though?
Cause he got it dumped on him. He ain't playing with popcorn no more.
But he eats it.
Nah, I don't want to be reminded of popcorn after somebody did that. Yeah, go ahead.
It was the person that did it.
Tee that question up.
Popcorn that did it.
Look,
Anyways, it's time for tonight's On the Road, brought to you by Hotels.com. So we got Bucks versus
what?
Whatever. Okay, so tomorrow's Bucks versus Nets game 1. What could have easily been the Eastern Conference Finals Classic will instead be settled in the second round. So we got 3 former MVPs, 7 NBA scoring titles, and, oh yeah, just 2 of the highest scoring teams in the league ready to face off. And for this matchup, we bring in our good sis, Roz Goldonwoode, to talk about this matchup because we love to talk basketball with Roz. What's going on, Roz? Long time no see. Okay. So, the Bucks beat the Nets 2-1 in the regular season, right? But we all know how many times the Big Three play together. It was only 8 times. They didn't face up against these people. Now they have to. So, what is your expectations for this matchup?
Well, I think having the Big Three definitely matters, whether they had a whole lot of familiarity or not. And I believe that the Bucks might be the best equipped team defensively to try and stop them. I mean, they have so many all defensive team caliber type players on the team, especially defensive player of the year, Giannis Antetokounmpo. You have Jrue Holiday, who can certainly lock up. Don't forget Bobby Portis, PJ Tucker. Both of them bring physicality, a toughness, experience to the court defensively as well. And this Bucks team, y'all, has been waiting and working for this moment. Spent the whole season working on adjustments like switching on defense. We'll see how that manifests itself. But ultimately, when trying to stop the Big Three and a team this talented, don't make it hard, make it hard on them. Don't turn it over. Run back, get transition defense. Don't let them be out there in the fast break and scoring in bunches.
The Bucks were 2-2. Oh, you want to go with Giannis here?
Oh yeah. Actually, Ross, let me ask you that. Right, the back-to-back MVP. Obviously, the last 2 playoffs, he's kind of stalled out, and that's like the one knock on him, right? The one legitimate knock that he hasn't risen to that occasion. So, what leads you to believe this year could potentially be different?
I mean, the hunger and also the fact that it's not all on Giannis. He has a legit Big Three there. Chris Middleton had signature moments already within this playoff series. He's dependable. He's consistent. Not to mention mentioned, Drew Holiday is someone you can depend on and count on offense and defense. But at the end of the day, guys, Giannis has to be great. I mean, they're going up against KD, Harden, and Kyrie. Giannis is going to have to be good. He's going to have to be excellent. And so, one of the ways to stop Giannis is you've really got to be aware of him in transition defense. He can't get a full head of steam. And, I'm curious actually what the Nets can do to line up against Giannis. DeAndre Jordan's been out of the rotation. Blake Griffin, not sure how that matchup really works for him. I actually think we could see more Kevin Durant. He's an underrated defender. And look for Nick Claxton. I actually think he could be an X factor. He's long, he's mobile. He's somebody that I feel could, maybe put some good minutes against Giannis, although he is inexperienced. So we'll figure out. It's probably going to be by committee in trying to stop Giannis. But to answer your question, he's going to have to be great.
So if Nick Claxton is your X factor, who do we see winning out in this series then?
Well, I feel like talent wins, so I'm going to go with the Nets. But I have Nick Claxton as an X factor on the Nets side. But for the Bucks, if they want to pull this out, they have their big three, which I've mentioned. But what about Bryn Forbes, y'all? Bryn Forbes was hot with the Heat, and he could really against the Heat, and he could really shoot the three. So I feel like if he could keep the hot hand and at minimum create some extra spacing, and when he comes into the game, change the game with some quick buckets and points, I think that could also help the Bucks there. But overall, with all that said, all the defense they have, even if they get an X factor, I still think the talent of the Nets is just overwhelming. I'm going to go with the Nets.
Well, this will certainly be a very good series to watch. Can't wait for that one to start. That's tomorrow. We have another series that's winding down, and Roz is going to come back to talk with us in just a few minutes. So thanks, Roz. We'll see you very soon.
All right. Bye, y'all. No problem.
So Roz gave us some insight on two very viable teams for championships. But we are here to discuss who we would love to see get a championship above all else, even if they may not have a shot right off the rip.
Of course, if we were fixing the NBA Finals and forcing the refs to crown somebody a champion, let's go ahead and just address the elephant in the room, and I think you're going to agree with me on this one. First one out the gate, Joe Ingles.
What?
I said
what?
It. I meant it.
No. Okay, so why are we doing jingles?
Because then we can, instead of calling him Jingles, call him Joe Ringles.
Okay.
I love it. He's 33. He's on his way out. He's on the back nine. I would love to see Ringles get himself one.
You want the Australian version of Big Shot Bob. Congratulations. I'm going to actually combat that with Mike Conley, the old head that should get the love that we're talking about here. Like, okay. I want Mike Conley. Paid is all outdoors, and I love that for him. But why not tack on a ring to go with the bags of money you're sitting on?
So by way of Conley getting the ring, by the way, that hamstring strain, he doesn't seem too upset or too deterred by it. By way of him getting the ring, Ringles still gets the ring, and obviously Rudy and Spider are the catalyst of that team. But to your point, he's 33 years old, and he has flown since he was 20 years old in the league, under the radar, quiet superstar, obviously got paid, so it would be nice to see somebody like him in his second year in Utah contribute to this team. May not be the number one or number two, but obviously a gigantic piece in what has been a very successful Jazz
Being
run.
in Memphis helps the case for you flying under the radar. I digress to say, though, on the other end of that spectrum, the young boys, Trae Young, can I get him as a part of this pantheon of people that deserve?
If this is a top 10 list, actually, you know what? You're down bad right now. It's your list. But instead of Trae Young, just hear me out. Because I think he's one of those players, which is why, spoiler alert, Luka's not going to be on this list for that reason, because they will eventually get a ring. I need Giannis in the 2 slot, though.
Ooh.
Because here's the thing. Recently, too, right? MVP, DPOY. But last year, and a lot of people have knocked him for not rising to the occasion. So I think this season, out of any other one, if he can get through what a lot of people are saying is the favorite, obviously there's a reason, the Nets and that big three. If he can get through them this season as their team is presently constructed, I don't think anybody can say anything bad about Giannis, and they cannot take anything away from this championship.
He's finally got some organizational help, too, with Drew Holiday being the X factor that he is on both ends of the floor, allowing Giannis to work off ball. That's a huge plus for Giannis. And again, it takes the pressure off him in a couple different ways, not only from a narrative sense, but really on the court in between the lines and everything like that. So who we got next?
100%. Give me Devin Booker.
You're a bizarro twin. I love that.
I agree on this one. 6th year in the league, and I don't know why I always go to the well on that one. He's only 24 years old, and the recency bias, maybe it's playing here. He literally outscored the Lakers in the first quarter in that clinching game, dropping 40 whenever he wants. He's only 24, and I think as of last year, he has truly risen to that superstar rank in the NBA.
He absolutely has, and like it's so fun to watch him. He's one of those cats that gets buckets in a regard that makes other NBA players realize that, like, hey, that is a real one. Like in that same echelon is like Dame and them, right? That is a guy that has clearly turned the corner to superstardom, as you mentioned. Now, I will add an addendum in Chris Paul because, like, I just am here to go back to the Mike Conley and Jingles discussion. Old heads getting that ring that are following, and again, to go back to even Giannis, disparaging a narrative that has followed them the entirety of their career. So I think Chris Paul is kind of ushered in with the Devin Booker argument.
Yes.
No? Yeah.
Plus, CP, homies with LeBron, so you know he will have that over his head every single time they're on vacation together. Like, hey, I got this ring because I went through your team. Yes. Thank you very much. Who you got second to last?
I want the stretch mark 5. Shouts to David Jacoby for that nickname. I have worn that nickname out.
Bro,
but
we agree right here.
Jokic, right? Like, it's impossible to say no to Jokic because, look, MVP, bar none, this season. It is very clear, but it's tough to get for people to get behind him for some reason.
Some would say that he isn't the MVP, and that's why you like him there.
Yes, exactly. Like, the arguments against him being the MVP are what makes me want him to get a ring even that much more, because that then validates all of the arguments for why can't we have a chubby white dude win the MVP, I guess. Like, that's what it feels like it boils down to. But his game is immaculate, and I just would love that for him.
I hate the conversations, too, when you bring up the Joker in any conversation, MVP or otherwise. There's always a but nothing, dude.
No.
Watch this guy play. Shut up and appreciate everything he does at his size and at his speed.
Yes.
And just be like, this dude should win a ring so he can just shut up all the people who are but. No buts. Give him a ring. He got a big butt, by the way.
He does.
Yeah.
It's a large wagon. Last slot before we get in trouble.
3, 2, 1.
Boban.
Universally loved.
I need that.
Who's going to disagree with us? I mean, listen to Pablo Torre's ESPN Daily podcast. They did an entire episode of why everybody loves him. I am of the belief that if he ran for public office, he would win in a landslide.
Yeah, it is very clearly not for basketball reasons that we're doing this. I know that we're showing basketball footage for Boban Bogdanovic, but I think it's just the love that we have for him, and that every team that he's had a stop on, there has been somebody that's like latched onto him and said, this is my guy. Like Tobias Harris in Philly, Luka now, Luka was with him, in Dallas. Like,
he truly been distraught. Like, Toby was like legitimately hurt. Like, he was down bad. He was like, man, my guy. Like, I miss him. Like, emotionally, I'm not stable anymore because Bobby's gone. And additionally, I would love to know what, like, ring size he is. Like, what do I do? Hey, we're going to have to put a hula hoop on your hand, man, because Jostens just doesn't make him that big. So I just want to know.
The Hillshire Farms smoked sausage is the format for his ring.
Hey, guys, check it out. If you disagree with our list, well, it's our list. So.
Yeah, no, get out of here. We don't want to hear it. Let's preview tonight's game.
This game 5 so important. This is what the playoffs are all about. Straight away, 3, good! He is a machine. Doncic with 40.
Big games. You gotta play hard. You gotta play with cards.
For the tie, no good! This baby is over.
Every year presents a different challenge, and this is what's in front of us. We're gonna have to win on the road if we want to become champions.
So what is the message going back down to Dallas for Game 6?
You gotta win in 7 now.
That's right. Game 6 between the Mavs and the Clips. That's coming up in about 7 minutes on ESPN and the ESPN app. You can sign in. If you're on the app right now, just go on and authenticate and you watch the game right here. We're going to talk to Raz about this matchup. I want to start talking about Luka the Don. He had a not so great game 4, and he had a cervical strain, which is just a fancy way to say neck pain. I looked it up because I just wanted to understand what was going on medically. Anyways, he bounced back and he had his historical game 5. I want to read this stat to you. He made or assisted on 31 of the Mavs' 37 field goals, accounting for 83.8 of Dallas's buckets. That's the highest percentage ever in a playoff game, according to Elias. So what the heck do the Clippers need to do to stop this man?
Well, first of all, thank you, Dr. Williamson. I appreciate the breakdown there. But as far as like trying to stop Luka, you don't stop him. You just slow him down. You guard him in waves. You change up the defenders on him, change bodies so he can't get comfortable, whatever that means. You meet him with physicality, make him feel you. You identify him in transition immediately. But y'all, Luka's averaging 35 points per game. And it's not just how many points he's scoring. It's the devastating nature of how he's been scoring it. Personally, I would rather see Luka have to go into traffic, force him into my help defense, force him to kick it to other players, be a playmaker. That's my thought. Because then having him one-on-one doing step back threes and fadeaways and dribble, and, making all these crazy circus shots and all the smiling that he does, the more Luka smiles, the worse it is for the Clippers. If you want a stat to watch tonight, the Clippers need to keep Luka under 2 smiles per game, and they've got a good shot. Because he's just out there.
He's having a good time.
Totally. Unmitigated joy. Yeah. No, it's not the move. So with the 2 defenders that should be sent his way, Kawhi, PG, I imagine a double team might help a little bit, but let's go to the offensive side of things with those 2 because Paul George saddled with foul trouble. Kawhi has a step up, doesn't do so. He gets 20, bums a layup towards the end of game 5, like it just wasn't a great showing. So what do we expect from Kawhi this evening?
I expect the same thing I always expect from Kawhi. I think that the media and fans, during playoffs especially, have a tendency to be prisoners of the moment. Kawhi was just great 2 games in a row ago. Let's not forget who he is. He's a top defender, a champion, a leader and winner by example. All he needed to do after that game was spend the day watching video and looking at what are the good shots he needs to be hunting versus the ones that he might be settling for or not taking or forcing out there. Another thing that I think would be good, I'd like to see more Kawhi Leonard defending Luka. And he's actually been the most successful option defending Luka. I'd love to see them put him on a more because it might actually, the challenge of it might engage Kawhi and spark him in a way that'll translate into his offense.
So, Roz, yeah, that's the thing with me. All of the numbers are great, but Luka's one of those players, he just immediately passes the eye test because he can get a bucket whenever he wants. And the weird thing about this series is, he's doing that on the road. A home team needs to win. Obviously, they're back in Dallas tonight for Game 6. He can seal it. But how do the Clippers avoid elimination tonight?
The main thing for the Clippers, I think, is execution, focus. Game 5 was winnable. You mentioned Luka, but Luka wasn't even great in the 4th quarter there in Game 5. He shot 1 for 8. There were winnable opportunities there for the Clippers, but they turned it over. They missed layups. They took bad shots. They've got to lock in and seize the moment. Another thing to keep an eye on besides Luka is Tim Hardaway Jr., who's been a big X factor for the Mavs. In the wins that the Mavs have had, Tim Hardaway Jr. is averaging 23 points per game. In the losses, he's only scoring 8 points per game. So it's kind of been like, in some ways, as he goes as an X factor, so have the Mavs, and the Clippers need to be aware.
So when it comes to what we're looking at in the series from a macro standpoint, Clippers, if they get bounced up out of the paint this evening, we're looking at the Clipper narrative just going haywire, right? That is just an organizational thing. But more specifically with Kawhi and PG, this experiment fails for the 2nd time in a row. What does this dynamic lead to then? Where are we going with the Clippers should they get bounced?
First of all, it's going to be a wild night on NBA Twitter if the Clippers lose. But look, how we think about the Clippers if they lose here, it would be now an embarrassing exit out of the bubble, dropping the 3-1 lead. And then here would be an early exit in the 1st round. Even if Paul George, after the bubble, said, hey, we didn't, the championship wasn't the goal. Well, then this year, for certain, the goal was redemption and the championship. So it would certainly be disappointing. If Kawhi leaves, then it's a failure. If Kawhi stays, I'm not willing to call it a failure just yet because there would be time to continue to work at this thing, but it's certainly disappointing, and it absolutely has put chinks in the armor of the reputation of these guys. Kawhi as this undeniable winner, it certainly has created some question marks there. And for Paul George in the tenure with the Clippers, it's really hurt his overall reputation. So there's still time. I'm not someone who's going to, say failure to anything like that. But it would definitely be disappointing, and we'd also have to see if it all ends, if Kawhi stays or goes.
Okay, so let's not get ahead of ourselves with it all ending because they still have a game tonight. So who's gonna win this one, Roz?
I got Clippers winning tonight. Come on, man. I still believe in Kawhi, y'all. I got Clippers. But look, them young boys been getting people out of here. Ja got Steph out, Book got LeBron out, so Luka, it might be his time.
Might be time to send
the old heads home. They gotta go to bed.
They might need to go home, and it wouldn't be great for the Clippers.
I want the old heads.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
Not be good for Clippers fans specifically. Clippers fans might want to take a trip. I don't know. Maybe. So, for that reason, we will leave you with a word from Vince Carter and Hotels.com.
Book your next trip with Hotels.com, the official travel partner of the NBA.